Now at 10, some Crawford County junior leaders prepared and served breakfast for the community earlier today in Girard. Plus, a local church hosted their annual Soup and Chili Cook-Off event with an auction. And a local art gallery and studio held an instructional fused glass art class.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Cale Chapman. The Byers Avenue United Methodist Church in Joplin hosted their annual Soup and Chili Cook-Off with a dessert auction today. Participants could submit their recipes to one of 4 cook-off categories: plain Jane chili, hot and spicy chili, unique chili, or soup, as well as enter a dessert to auction off to other attendees. The event goal was to bring the congregation together as well as raise funds for God's Resort.
Yeah, well, originally when we started, it was a fundraiser for our youth group, and so it was a lot of fun. They really enjoyed helping out with it and everything, and then we've kind of morphed into a missions fundraiser over the years, and so it's just done a lot of good for a lot of different organizations, and our congregation really likes being able to help support different groups in a fun, competitive way.
The cook-off and auction were open to the whole community. Some Crawford County junior leaders were preparing and serving breakfast for the community earlier today. KOAM's Yana Adala got a look inside the event in Girard and talked with organizers and volunteers.
The pans are staying hot for several hours as Crawford County junior leaders are preparing and serving pancakes, eggs, sausage, and beverages at their 37th annual pancake feed.
It is a yearly fundraiser that we do that goes to help support youth activities for the youth that are providing and putting it on. They make the food, they prepare it, they serve it, they do all of it. The sausage that they're actually serving today we made yesterday by hand, so they mix the meat, stuffed in the casing, and cooking it up today.
These 13 to 18-year-old 4-H members provide leadership and skills for the young members and put together different events. Gavin Huber participates by cooking some pancakes outside.
Perfect.
He's excited they get to have the event in person as they have been selling sausage the previous years during the COVID pandemic.
It's a lot nicer because more people can come out that way, and you just get to see more people. It's a lot more fun, and you get to hang out with kids your age all day.
Hoover also participated by making sausages the day before.
Pretty good sausage recipe that we've used for 37 years now, I guess. And I think everybody's just happy to be able to come in and sit down and eat this year.
The group expects to go through over 300 eggs and serve most of the 150 pounds of sausage they made.
A lot of them, are getting some great communication skills building, some leadership. Being a waiter or waitress is kind of a hard thing. So they're learning to do that in a very relaxed manner that, one day when they go off to college, they may get a part-time job.
In Girard, Yana Adala, KOAM News.
The fundraiser helps support activities for the members to do in the future. The Elements Art Gallery and Studio in Joplin hosted a fused glass class today. The class was led by artist Valerie Ockert. Participants could come solo or in a couple to make their fused glass art. The only thing attendees needed to bring was their creativity.
The creativity, my creativity, my students' creativity, it's amazing. You come in to do a class thinking that you're going to have to tell everybody what to do, but you get here and everybody knows what they want to do already. It just unleashes their own personal creativity.
The Elements Art Gallery has events and exhibits all year long. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us now for a first look at the weather.
And it was a beautiful day across the area. Lots of sunshine, warm temperatures, and light winds. Nothing on radar right now, but that's going to be changing over the next 24 to 36 hours. Temperatures yesterday were not too bad. They were in the 50s, dropped down into the 30s this morning, but look at that. We made it into the 60s this afternoon. Very nice for early February. Temperatures are going to be dropping through the 40s and then all the way down to 39, and then temperatures are going to start warming back up on those strong south winds tomorrow. In fact, here's a look at the forecast. You can see winds generally around 20 to 25 miles an hour in the morning, but by afternoon we'll see wind gusts up to 40, maybe even 50 miles per hour, especially out towards the west. So a windy Monday on shape for the area. And looking down the lane, we have rainy on Tuesday, rain on Wednesday, and maybe some snow on Friday, and I'll tell you all about that in just a little bit.
The cold weather didn't stop many plunging for a good cause. Today, the Polar Plunge returned to Virginia Beach. Organizers say more than 2,600 people took part, and the event raised more than $1.5 million. The event also advocates for creating more inclusive environments at schools, places of enjoyment, healthcare spaces, and social and sports settings.
It's just a time of year when things are a lot slower and everybody has to live a little different than in the summertime when it's hustle and bustle down here.
The hustle and bustle at the Virginia Beach oceanfront was in full swing as people took a plunge in the Atlantic, braving the cold temperatures, all in support of Special Olympics Virginia. News 3 anchor Kurt Williams also plunged and spoke with participants.
We got the oldest and the youngest Iceaholics members here and in the plunge tonight. So nobody should say they're too young or too old to do this plunge and raise money for the Special Olympics, because we brought 95 and 16 months out here.
With the event raising more than $1.5 million, Eric Emerson, the general manager of Waterman, says events like this in the winter months helps them earn big bucks.
Without these events, there would certainly be less people in town, and adding them only adds to everything else.
But it's not just restaurants. Hotels are also bringing in the cash.
It's a time period when hotels don't usually fill up, that we have availability, and events like the Polar Plunge give hotels that extra boost and that extra revenue that really helps keep us going in the off season.
John Zirkle, the president of the Virginia Beach Hotel Association, says he estimates close to 2,000 rooms were booked by plungers and supporters. He also tells us events like this help tourism in the resort city.
There's a big trickle-down benefit that I think a lot of people don't realize when you have an event like that, and it does get some extra rooms filled in hotels and allows people to get some extra hours in that are working.
This year's plunge, putting lots of money towards local business and a good cause.
The Kansas City Chiefs have officially landed in Phoenix, Arizona at the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will be played on February 12th. The Chiefs will face off against NFC champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. We take time now to honor a local veteran. Kyle Jones began his service in the U.S. Army in 2006 and continues to serve today. The Fort Scott, Kansas native toured in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as serving as a combat engineer at Fort Riley. Jones has been awarded several medals for his service, including the Army Commendation Medal. To Sergeant Kyle Jones, we salute you, our four-state hero. Coming up, U.S. representatives meet for a border visit in El Paso to discuss immigration. Plus, a man is dead and 2 officers are injured following a shootout in Indiana. A man is dead in south central Indiana as police say he tried to shoot them while they were putting him in cuffs. A Lawrence County Sheriff's deputy and Mitchell policemen are wounded and the suspected gunman is dead. The incident began in the parking lot of a convenience store gas station on State Road 37 just northwest of Mitchell as 2 city police officers backed up a sheriff's deputy on a traffic stop. When a police K-9 indicated the presence of narcotics in the car, investigators say the man took off. It was while he was being handcuffed that the officers say he pulled out a gun and shot one of the policemen and the deputy. One of them shot back and fatally wounded the suspect. He died at the hospital.
Initially, 1 officer made the traffic stop. 2 other officers arrived to assist with that traffic stop. One of those officers was equipped with a police K-9. They conducted an open-air search of the vehicle. The dog walked around the vehicle, indicated the presence of narcotics. A subsequent search of that vehicle did locate narcotics, and as the officers were attempting to take the man into custody, he ran.
The 2 officers were airlifted to Indianapolis for treatment. Crews put fencing up around the U.S. Capitol this morning ahead of Tuesday's State of the Union address. Senior advisors to President Joe Biden are expected to gather this weekend at Camp David to sharpen the president's State of the Union message. The president is known to spend several weeks planning for major addresses like the State of the Union, which is historically the moment a president can draw his largest television audience of the year. But he's also known to fiddle with the text up to the last possible moment. Congresswoman Veronica Escobar led 7 members of Congress around El Paso on Friday to see how immigration policies are affecting communities along the southern border. The group of Democrats included Sheila Jackson Lee, Mike Thompson, Rick Larson, Hank Johnson, Silvio Garcia, Greg Cesar, and Rob Menendez. They all met with the City of El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser and County Judge Ricardo Samaniego.
8 members of Congress joined Congresswoman Veronica Escobar to see what the El Paso community has been seeing for the last couple of months. And after touring the borderland, members from Congress agreed that Congress needed to come up with an immigration reform that treats migrants in a humane way.
They heard from federal law enforcement agents, our OFO officials, and all of those customs agents from their perspective about what they're seeing on the ports of entry.
Congresswoman Veronica Escobar invited members of Congress to El Paso so they could see how immigration policies are affecting the borderland community. Cameras were not allowed to film their tour. However, in a press conference held this morning, Congresswoman Escobar confirmed officials met with law enforcement agents, visited the port of entry, the CBP-1 processing facility, the El Paso County's processing facility.
It is long past time, it has been long past time to pass comprehensive immigration reform that really gets at root causes of immigration, that creates legal pathways, including a pathway to citizenship.
The members also held a roundtable conversation with Mayor Oscar Leeser, County Judge Ricardo Samaniego, the Office of Emergency Management, and after visiting the borderland, members of Congress that were a part of the tour had a message to their fellow Congress members and challenged them to visit border communities, as Congress is the only one who can make immigration reform happen.
Politicians have to stop dividing people about this very important humanitarian and economic issue that I've had the opportunity to get a good glimpse of and learn a whole lot about on this trip.
If they do, they will change their narrative about what is happening, and then we can get to a real, long-standing, comprehensive solution to the challenge that we've been facing for far too long.
Congress members that visited El Paso assured Congresswoman Escobar that they will continue to fight side by side with her to make sure that the community receives federal funding it needs. Reporting from the U.S.-Mexico border, Jonathan Mejia.
A little later, the U.S. National Toboggan Championship kicks off in Maine.
And we had a dry weekend, but changes are in the forecast. I'll tell you all about it when we come back. Well, friends, we had a beautiful Sunday across the area. Lots of sunshine, light winds, and warm temperatures, especially for the month of February. It was just absolutely gorgeous. And it's still pretty nice out there in Seneca, Missouri, at Indico Sky Casino and Resort. This afternoon, we made it up to 63 degrees, which was only 6 degrees from the record of 69 back in 1963. The low was 33, which was above the normal of 26. And so it was a very warm day across the area, and I don't think anyone was complaining about that. Radar is clear right now. It's going to stay that way for about another 24 hours, and then rain is going to start to move into our area. That's because the storm system is organizing over the Rocky Mountains. That will start to affect us late tomorrow night into Tuesday. Then another storm system behind that one, and yet another one behind that one. So we have a parade of storms to deal with in the coming week. Right now in Joplin, no storms, 43 degrees. Feels like 40 out there because the wind is out of the east-southeast at 5. So a little bit of a wind chill. Pressure is currently steady and the dew point is 29. Temperatures have fallen down into the mid-30s in Pittsburgh and Parsons with 35. Also 35 in Neodesha, 41 in Welch, 41 in Jay, and 46 degrees for our friends down in Bella Vista. Temperatures are generally around 5 to 10 degrees colder tonight than they were last night at this time, but still not too bad for early February. Rain chances are going to be nil for at least the next several hours, but then tomorrow night into early Tuesday, that's when the rain chances really start to increase across our area. Breaking it down for you, we're going to see the clouds increase tonight, and the winds are going to be coming back, especially by tomorrow morning. We'll see southeasterly winds gusting up close to 30 miles per hour with temperatures in the 40s. And then as we go through the day, those winds are going to still be with us with temperatures in the mid-60s, some places in the mid to upper 60s. But notice there's a cold front up to the north and west. That's going to be sailing our direction as we go through the nighttime hours. And by Tuesday, it'll be through, and we'll see areas of rain breaking out across the area with temperatures in the 40s. So it's going to be kind of one of those raw days with temperatures in the 40s and rain off and on during the day. And you can see by Tuesday at 5, still rain with temperatures in the mid-40s. And notice by the time we go into Wednesday morning, we could see a mix or changeover in our northwestern counties. and then temperatures in the 30s. And rainfall amounts are going to be higher down to the south and east towards Branson and northwest Arkansas, lesser amounts back to the north and west, but everyone should get a little bit of rain from the storm system. Looking at the wider picture, the mild air is going to be shoved to the south. Here comes our storm system on Tuesday and Wednesday, and as that pulls out, it's going to bring in some colder air behind it in time to meet up with this next storm system, and so that means a chance of snow. Here's your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, windy and cloudy, rain developing late tomorrow night into Tuesday and Wednesday. Then it gets colder on Thursday night into Friday, and that's when we have that chance of snow, Kale. And then as we go into Saturday, a little bit cooler, and then Sunday, another chance of rain, and that continues into Valentine's Day. So a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be like that Valentine's Day box of chocolates.
That's right.
Heck yeah, well, thank you, Sam.
No problem.
It stayed fairly mild here last week, but temperatures in Maine peaked just enough to start the U.S. National Toboggan Championship after weather-related delays. Take a look.
With temperatures rising back above zero, it is time to sled. The sun is shining and it's a beautiful day to hit the slopes and the chute down in Camden. Despite the delay, the races are underway. And in its 32nd year, the U.S. National Toboggan Championships have been a tradition for decades. And you never know who you'll run into, like the U.S. Coast Guard.
The active duty crew and the reserve crew is out here this weekend working to make the race run more smoothly, participate in this historical event.
We're out here looking for some more capable candidates. We just made a reunion right here. I was his recruiter a couple years ago when he joined.
With music, costumes, and quite a crowd to cheer teams on, folks are having a fun February day. Even for a couple who recently moved up to Maine in summer of 2022 and are facing their first winter.
It was great. Same here.
Our first year
Our
here.
first year.
And our first time.
Yeah, we just moved up here, so Florida.
45% of those who turned out for the event are from out of town, some from around the country, and some from around the world.
We've got people as far as Ireland, we've got California, Texas, Hawaii, North Carolina's here, really all over the place. It's really cool to talk with people up at the top of the chute and figure out, what they're doing here, how long they've been racing.
Over the years, the championships have only had one cancellation, and that was due to COVID-19. But this year, with having dangerously low temperatures for the first half of the weekend, the event had to be consolidated into one day. Also, this winter has been a challenge for creating the best chute conditions.
So today's a little bit different because the chute's a little bit slower. It's on snow rather than the ice. We're 450 feet when we're on the ice, and now it's like 100 feet. So a little bit different, but it's fun, You better bring your A game.
But at the end of the day, win or lose, it's always about bringing people together and having fun in the winter weather.
I love it. I love the community. I love everything about it. Like bringing all my Southern boys here to Maine. I told them before, it's like Southern hospitality meets the New England. And when I brought them here, they're like, dude, everyone's super nice and caring, and bringing back to the community and having something in a winter event that keeps everyone going and alive is awesome.
Katie Sharp, WABI TV5 News, Camden.
Still ahead, one special event in Hollywood is honoring an award-winning artist and her career. But as we go to break, here's a look at local college baseball and softball scores from this afternoon. The Grammys can always be counted on to bring out the biggest names in music, but one special event in Hollywood is honoring an award-winning artist and her career.
The pre-Grammy parties always bring out some of music's biggest names, and tonight is no exception. From Cypress Hill to Ali and AJ, they're all here at the W Hotel in Hollywood to honor a Grammy award-winning artist and icon, none other than Whitney Houston. Leading up to the Grammys here, all throughout the week, the W Hotel has transformed into the Whitney Houston Hotel, who would have turned 60 this year. There are touches of the Grammy award-winning singer everywhere here, from some of the gowns she wore throughout her career to a listening lounge, portraits too. Whitney Houston's legacy is only getting stronger as new generations experience her music. Her music truly is timeless and continues to inspire so many.
There'll never be another Whitney. You know, she was a trailblazer. She left a hell of a legacy. And what better place to do it than at the Grammys, because she won everything pretty much. So,
and what she left here was her music. You know, we need to celebrate that all the time. And I'm a firm believer in, you know, positive vibes. You know what I mean? So that's what it is.
She was a really warm, giving, kind, generous person who loved to use the platforms that her musical gift gave her to uplift people and to empower people. That's the real legacy of Whitney Houston.
Primary Wave and the estate of Whitney Houston are behind tonight's event, no doubt getting everyone even more excited for tomorrow, music's biggest night.
We'll be right back with more. It took nearly 2 months, but a movie finally topped the Avatar sequel at the weekend box office. In fact, 2 movies did. David Daniel has early estimates for the weekend's top 5.
The concert film BTS, yet to come in theaters, opened in 5th place, earning $6.2 million in just 700 theaters. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish fell to 4th place on ticket sales of $8 million. Avatar: The Way of Water fell from 1st to 3rd, grossing $10.8 million for a domestic total of $636 million.
Oh my gosh, what is happening?
80 for Brady debuted in 2nd place, beginning its box office season with $12.5 million.
Drop the weapon and move away from Aircraft.
Knock at the Cabin is the first new #1 movie since mid-December. The M. Night Shyamalan thriller made $14.2 million to open in 1st place. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Yeah, so it finally happened. I've been waiting 2 months.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to have to wait long for the rain.
Well,
That's going to be coming in late tomorrow night into Tuesday. A pretty good chance of rain across the area Tuesday and Wednesday, and then some snow late Thursday into early Friday. More rain next Sunday, and that continues into Valentine's Day. So, unfortunately, it looks like a wet sweetheart day this year.
Well, yeah, hopefully people can stay inside, stay
Absolutely.
dry, take your date to the dinner, something
That's
like that.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
go to dinner. All righty, well, that's our time for now. Thanks for making us a part of your night.